Hello, my name is Jack Buser, and I am the Director for Games in the Business Development Division of Stadia.
So Google had a big announcement here. It was your first GDC keynote yesterday and it was a big event. There was a lot to process. So let's talk about the process of going from that prototype last year to Stadia, and from a business standpoint, what have you folks been working on for the last year to make sure that you could announce this properly?
Yeah, so I personally have been working on Stadia for years, and I think one of the most exciting things for me personally is actually being able to tell my family what I work on now. It's been an amazing journey, actually, especially getting from our initial public test called Project Stream, where we streamed Assassin's Creed Odyssey, day and date with its release on PC and console, to folks all over the United States. That test went very, very well. We were setting out to really do two things. First, really push our technology and make sure everything was working flawlessly, and I'm proud to say the test went over extremely well. The results are in and things are looking great. But we also wanted to show gamers that streaming has arrived, that they could get an experience via streaming that is parallel, that looks and feels like the best experiences they can get on console and PC. From that time, we've been hard at work actually ramping up to this announcement of Stadia, and I'm just super, super proud with the team and everything that we've managed to accomplish here at GDC.
One thing I thought was really smart about the announcement was how Google is leveraging their YouTube property and the popularity of YouTube with gamers. So when was that moment that you folks thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool if there was a play button in a gameplay video? When was that eureka moment? Because that was really one of those announcements yesterday where I was like, that's something brand new.
Yeah, I mean, gaming is a huge part of Google, and especially on the YouTube side, we announced some statistics around the amount of viewership just on game content on YouTube. It's just staggering. And when we started to take a look at that, we realized that we really had something magical. The ability to combine YouTube and Stadia so that you could actually be watching a game on a YouTube video, click on the video and jump through the video into the game seamlessly. I mean, this is truly a revolutionary experience.
And then also from a content creator standpoint, there's a lot of people streaming on YouTube, and you've offered this crowd play feature, which is also, I think, a brand new idea. I don't think your competitors at Twitch have anything like that, right?
I mean, imagine watching your favorite YouTube creator play a game and say, hey, I'd like to join you, and then just jump through the YouTube video into the game seamlessly with your favorite creator and be able to play alongside them. I mean, this is truly a new type of experience that the world has never seen before.
And I think the example that you showed was NBA 2K. That's a game that people buy every year. One thing about Stadia is it's a streaming service, so there's not going to be that same level of ownership. Well, we don't necessarily know, but how, from a consumer standpoint, do you explain the value proposition to someone where they're not buying 2K every year, but they're still able to stream it to a tablet, a phone, and all these different devices?
So later on in 2019, we're going to be announcing more details around content and how we'll be bringing that content to market. What I can say is that our vision for this service is to bring high-fidelity AAA gaming to more people than ever before. If you look at the history of this industry, and I've been in the games industry for quite some time, it's generally an industry that's limited to, think in terms of like hundreds of millions of players, right? And our vision for this service is to really reach the billions of game players out there and have them enjoy the same and even better new high-fidelity gaming that was previously not accessible to that number of people.
Well, I think you folks have always been very platform agnostic with your services side of the company. And it really feels like this is platform agnosticism being applied to gaming with the Android family. And then I was kind of blown away that, how much is Chromecast? It's like $25?
It depends on where you live in the world, but yeah, I mean, it's a very reasonably priced media player.
It's technically the cheapest home console ever made, I think. And that to me is the fascinating part of this. I think something that a lot of people are concerned about, myself included, like I live in Ohio, we don't have gigabit internet where I live. How is Google going to leverage the power of their data centers and their cloud to provide a good experience to someone who may not have the best internet?
Yeah, I always say a wise man once said, "Don't bet against the internet," right? Google has a rich history of being able to provide streaming experiences to people all over the world. Obviously, with YouTube, we have a ton of experience there. So we're very confident that we're going to be able to bring people Stadia in places all over the world. We announced the countries that will be launching, or the territories that will be launching in 2019. And the reason why we're able to do this with such confidence is because of the Project Stream test, where we were able to actually test the service live with real gamers all over the US and get data back in on how the technology was performing. And like I mentioned earlier, the results are in and it's looking very, very positive. We're quite confident.
Well, when you're running something like Doom Eternal on this at 4K and 60 frames per second, that raises the eyebrows of a lot of PC gamers, and part of Stadia is that it'll run in Chrome, right? So
Yes.
it's just fascinating to see that. Are you basically sidestepping launchers? Do you view Stadia as a competitor to Steam and say Epic Games Store, or is it a competitor? Is it a whole new thing? Is it a different category?
Stadia really is a whole new thing. Our mission with this service really is to bring high fidelity gamer to people that never could access this content before. I think Doom Eternal is an excellent example of the power of the platform and really proves the point that we can handle any type of game content, even the twitchiest, fastest paced, most high fidelity content. I don't know if you had a chance to actually go to our booth here in GDC and play Doom.
I haven't yet.
But we can talk numbers and figures, but it's not until you get your hands on it,
Sure.
you actually play a 60 frames per second first person shooter with, it's just unbelievable. Playing is believing.
Yeah, and I really think that the concept of streaming games like this is going to be big. So it's a service. The hot thing in tech right now, is recurring revenues, and this really seems to be based on that model. Would that be a correct assumption that Stadia is, in the future, going to be like a recurring revenue model for Google?
So we'll be talking more about the business in 2019. We're not announcing too many details at this time. What I can say is that Stadia really is a game platform, built for an entirely new generation. This is something that is quite new. The world has never seen this before. So stay tuned and you'll hear more announcements as we go forward in this year.
So one product that you did announce in the gaming space is your controller.
Hey!
Yeah, so let's talk about this controller.
Yes.
I think one of the big deals is that it has Wi-Fi built into it. Talk about how that technology is going to help you with the concern of input latency.
One of the best features of this controller is the Wi-Fi integration. The fact of the matter is that this controller actually connects directly to your game running in the cloud, and then the cloud streams down to your endpoint. So that has a number of different benefits. One of my favorites is that you don't have to sit there and try to figure out how to pair the controller with a device, right? It's pairing directly with the game in the cloud. So you can imagine a future where you're playing on your big screen at home and I want to go over to your house and play some more, just throw my controller in my backpack and off I go. It's really an amazing experience. And gamers had a preview of this with Project Stream. Did you have a chance to participate in the test?
One of our staff members did, yes.
One of the great things about Project Stream for me was playing through Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I could do it wherever I was, right? So I'd be playing it at home up on the big screen and I'd say, you know what, I want to play it on my lunch break at work, and I would just pick right up where I left off. And I got really used to that. So when the Project Stream test was over, I had to go back to like sitting on my couch in a dedicated place to play all my games. I'm like, wow, you really get used to that idea that you can just go everywhere with your games. And this controller really enables that.
But at the same time, you folks did say we're going to support legacy controllers that connect with Bluetooth. So I have to ask you, is your controller a better experience on Stadia because of its features?
Well, I think the controller has a number of features that really set it apart from a standard game controller. Of course, we will support any type of input device that you'd like to use. Like if you have an existing controller and you can pair it with your laptop or computer, you're fine to use that. But one of the great things about this controller I personally love is the gaming assistant. So we showed a demonstration on stage of the gaming assistant integrated into a game where I could actually, if I'm stuck in a game, I could say, hey, I'm stuck, can you help me out? And the Google Assistant can go and help you, find a video to get you through the game. We were talking earlier about, we both play inverted controls.
Yeah,
I know, I'm one of those. But imagine someday to just be able to just give voice controls to change menu options in a game, any type of thing. So the possibilities of the gaming assistant are really limitless, and having it built into this controller is quite cool.
And I'm sure you folks know this because you're Google and you have access to the analytics of countless websites across the world. Not that you're using it properly, but you just know a lot of stuff. That's what you are. You're a knowledge engine. Gaming traffic on websites, specifically Shacknews, has shifted towards guides, how-tos. Same thing with YouTube in a big way. The how-to content, how to beat this boss, how to find this thing, how to get that key, has become such a big deal. So having Google Assistant built in natively into this platform is really something that, it was one of those moments yesterday where I was like, well, okay, how do I optimize for my article to be a Google Assistant result? But I think it's like a whole new game for SEO and also for tips. I think it was there's several things that you've done with this platform where I'm like, yep, there's gamers making this. And that was definitely one of those.
Yeah, it's, I can't say this enough, how fortunate I am to be a part of this team. I'm surrounded by people that love games. We play games all the time when we're in the office. We talk about games. Games really is part of the DNA at Google, and just to have so many gamers on this project, it's just amazing to come into work every day.
And I'm an investor. I've had quite a bit of success investing in tech companies. I was screaming at people at the Google IPO to buy your stock. They didn't listen, and they're dummies. But your stock went up a lot yesterday on this news, and competitors' stocks went down on the news. Legacy console makers. Are you out to destroy all other gaming companies, or are you just providing something new? It just felt like the market kind of is, they're just like, Google's here, everyone else is dead. It doesn't seem like, with your partnerships you announced, and it doesn't seem like you guys are the Death Star, but are you the Death Star?
I can't really comment on the market or
sure.
some of that stuff. But what I can say is that as a gamer and as a team of gamers, we are passionate about games. I grew up playing games. I've been in this industry for a long, long time, and my passion, and I think the passion of those of us that work on this project, is to bring the games that we love, the content that we love, to just more people. And that's really what Stadia is all about. How do we break down the barriers to these high fidelity games that we love so much, and make this form of entertainment more accessible to more people all over the world? It's something that I personally am very passionate about, and I know the entire team is as well.
Yeah, I kind of want to get back to the game side of things. You announced a studio that's going to be internally developing games for Stadia. Right now, it appears that Google is doing talent acquisition. You're finding really talented people from games industry with a lot of experience and bringing them onto your team. Is this something down the road where you could see Google's game studio acquire other IP to bring it into your platform? Or is this something where you want to do something internally? Like, is there like your own first-party Mario project going on right now? Or are you going to go out there and maybe, Google's massive. You're a huge company. You could acquire anyone in the video game industry if you wanted to. So I'm curious how you folks view your first-party development at this time.
So during our keynote, we gave the very first glimpse at our ambitions with our first-party studio. There's going to be more to come. 2019 is going to be a big year for us. We're going to be announcing more and more about our content lineup and other partnerships as we go through the year. So stay tuned. I don't want too many spoilers now, but
Sure.
There's certainly more to come.
And as of right now, the third-party studios that you're working with, you've shown Ubisoft. You announced further partnerships beyond Assassin's Creed.
Talked about 2K.
Yeah,
the NBA, we showed Tomb Raider content from our friends at Crystal Dynamics.
And
it's great to see Dylan on stage from Q Games. Of course, Tequila Works.
Yeah. So it's
again, not too many spoilers.
No. But it's a wide swath of gaming experiences and different studios. Tequila Works is a little smaller. Kind of a boutique thing. I think. You're at Game Developers Conference. There's a lot of indie devs here, and they're curious how they're going to be able to participate in this. I know you may not be able to announce anything here, but when should indies expect more clarity as to maybe how to become part of the process, and also maybe what the dev economy looks like? Because right now, I feel like you've really created a whole new kind of platform for people, and it's much like when Spotify or Apple Music came out, where the economy of music industry changed. So I feel like there's another moment coming for gaming with this. When do you think people will be able to understand that a little bit more?
Yeah, so one of the things that was really important to us at our keynote were to highlight some of our partners that were very large development studios, as well as smaller independent studios as well. So we wanted to hint at the diversity of content that would be available on our platform. So we hope that message got through, that Stadia is a platform for all types of developers, big and small, and we had information in our keynote on how to get in touch with us. And we're really, really excited to talk to any developer that might be interested in building for the platform.
Okay, so they're going to be kind of just private conversations when the studio comes to you and says, hey, we want to bring our game to your... Because when I picked up the controller and I touched that D-pad, I said, hey, Celeste would be great. So Matt Makes Games is a very small studio, but I feel like there's companies out there that I think will want to leverage their content on this platform because, as Sundar really made it abundantly clear, it's for all gamers, and it's almost this democratization of the terminal for gaming, because you demoed Assassin's Creed Odyssey running on like a tablet.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so like I get your point that it's for everyone. I just think that might have been something that some indies were left wondering. So it's good to hear that you folks are wide open to people submitting ideas and starting a conversation.
Absolutely, and I can't wait to tell you more about the content that's coming to the platform. I think you'll be very, very impressed. I've spent last few years talking to developers all over the world, and the level of excitement in the industry for this platform is palpable. So 2019 is going to be a great year. Again, I don't want too many spoilers, but
sure.
Boy, I am so excited to talk to you more about the content.
No, absolutely. And, I think another aspect of the content that we kind of touched on a little was multiplayer.
Yes.
I can't remember who said it. Someone during the presentation said, we could do 1,000-person battle royale. So when is this 1,000-person battle royale coming out?
Well, if you think about the way that multiplayer works today, you have what I call a network appliance. So it's a PC or a game console sitting in your living room. And then it's trying to communicate to some sort of cloud backend that's tracking all the players in a multiplayer environment. And then that cloud backend is trying to coordinate other consoles or PCs in other people's living room. That's tough, right? And that's why you see things like rubber banding or people sort of, ghosting or otherwise other hiccups in multiplayer games. But when all of your game instances are connected on Google's backbone, the ability for game instances to talk to each other in a super robust, super fast way enables you to potentially scale up multiplayer experiences to things that could never be realized with a network appliance in your living room. It's pretty magical stuff. I remember when I first joined Google and they showed the infrastructure that was available at the company. I was like, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And we're going to run games on this?
Thank you for saying that, because there's really 3 companies, I would say, in the world that are capable of doing something at this scale. It's Microsoft, it's Amazon, it's you folks. There's almost a battle for the cloud going on across industries. This is like one of the biggest shots fired in the gaming industry in the cloud space I've seen in a very long time. It really feels like this is a disruption that's occurring.
So, our infrastructure has been built to deliver content to people all over the world. And again, as a gamer, our ability to leverage the best of Google, including our infrastructure, but also services like YouTube, Chrome, just to be able to bring all this together to bring high fidelity games to people that previously didn't have access to them, or previously there were barriers to those games. To me, that's just what this is all about.
Yeah, and talking about opening it up to all gamers again, I want to talk to you about client, because the demo showed a lot of Google products on screen, and then I think you guys went out and got a really crappy computer just to show that it can run on a crappy computer. There's a lot of other gaming devices out there. And I think that there's one specifically that is underpowered relative to the other consoles, Nintendo Switch. Is there a possibility that this Stadia platform could run with another client, say a Nintendo Switch, or say an Apple iPhone, or say, a competitor necessarily? But, if this is about everyone, it feels like leveraging your service on another device wouldn't be a bad idea. So from not confirming or denying anything, but just from a business standpoint, because Google has a history of being platform agnostic, would that make sense to open it up beyond the Android Chrome ecosystem onto other things in the future?
So I can't talk about any specific device, but what we showed during the keynote were games running on personal screens like mobile phones or tablets, to laptops, either, or even full-on gaming rigs down to 3-year-old laptops, to giant flat screen TVs in your living room.
Yeah.
The idea that we can bring the Stadia experience to that diversity of playback or screens, I guess, really speaks to sort of the flexible nature of our platform. So I can't talk about specific devices per se, but I think we've shown that the technology is quite flexible and robust.
Yeah, I think there's a few games in Japan that use cloud-based technology to run on Switch. I think they're from Capcom. They don't do it here in the US. But I think that there's a proof of concept out there for you folks on that specific device. But I just think, given that your service, you want it to be available to as many people as possible, that kind of platform agnostic behavior would make sense going forward.
So in terms of more specifics around Stadia, specific games, things like that, we're going to be talking a lot about this service in 2019, so stay tuned, and we're going to give more detail around the service as we move through the year.
So I just have one last question. It's the internet. People are very skeptical. You folks run YouTube. You understand how comments can be. Make this, what is the pitch to a gamer? There's a gamer out there who has a PS4, an Xbox One, a Switch, and a PC, right, already. Make the pitch to them that this is going to be the value proposition for this versus something else.
So,
because gamers are very picky like that.
Look, I'm a gamer, right? I've been playing games my entire life. I have almost every single game console that's ever been made. I have a collection of them at home. I play games every day. The first time I was able to play Stadia in my home, and I had been working on it for quite some time, I was blown away. Just that experience of playing a game streamed from the cloud, and I just forgot, right? I was just in the game. And then being able to go to work and have a few minutes, I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna, run a quest or two while I have some time, just logging in and continuing my game. I just got used to it. This idea that I could just access my game wherever I was, and it felt like I was at home with a very powerful PC or console, but I could do that wherever I happen to be. It's amazing.
It's funny, the way you're describing it feels like the same excitement I get with YouTube TV, where I can unlimited cloud-based DVR that I can access on all my devices. So I think there's already products at Google that highlight that value proposition.
That's right. And look, I understand the skepticism. And when you get your hands on Stadia and you play Doom, or you play Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you play these games that we're showing here on the show, and you just play for a minute, you're like, oh, okay, this works. And really, playing is believing. I am so excited to bring Stadia to people at our launch. I think it's going to be an amazing experience when people actually, have a chance to get hands on. Some people were lucky enough to participate in Project Stream, and you saw the comments online. Once people played this, oh my gosh, this is the real deal. It feels like I'm, playing on a local device, but it's streaming from the cloud. Playing is believing.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.